If you do not rule your mind, someone else will. If you do not shape your thoughts, your circumstances will enslave you. This is not about motivation, this is about domination. Today we expose the silent war you are losing, the war against ignorance. And we give you the one weapon no tyrant, no failure, and no fear can withstand, a mind trained to overcome anything. There is no freedom for the man who does not know. He may walk among the living, he may eat, speak, laugh, but he is not free. He is governed by invisible strings. Lies he believes, truths he rejects, and systems he does not understand. His ignorance is not innocence. It is a leash, a chain, a cage dressed in comfort. The world does not enslave him by force. It enslaves him through his lack of awareness. The tragedy is not that people suffer. The tragedy is that they do not know why. They cry out in pain, but they do not trace the source. They point at others, but never once look inward and ask, what have I not learned? That question is too dangerous, too sharp, too surgical. It cuts too deep, so the average mind runs from it. They would rather suffer in chains than accept the responsibility of freedom. A man who is ignorant cannot detect manipulation. He walks into the jaws of systems designed to use him. He cannot spot traps. He cannot smell deception. He cannot discern truth from seduction. He may feel discomfort. He may feel stuck, but he has no name for the prison. And what you cannot name, you cannot destroy. So what happens? He adapts to the cage. He learns to love the leash. He builds his identity around the walls of limitation. He turns excuses into mantras. He tells himself, this is just how life is. He baptizes his ignorance and calls it fate. But it is not fate. It is intellectual negligence. He did not guard his mind. He did not arm his soul. He was born with a sword, but he never sharpened it. The ignorant man does not see the game. He is a pawn, convinced he has power. He labors for empires he does not control. He obeys rules he never helped write. He consumes messages designed to weaken him. He trusts systems that feed off his confusion. He surrenders his will to trends, moods, fears, and the opinions of people as lost as he is. His ignorance is currency for those in power. And the more uninformed he stays, the richer they become. They give him just enough information to think he knows something. They educate him just enough to follow instructions, but not enough to question them. They sell him entertainment instead of insight. They drown him in stimulation and starve him of wisdom. And when his life begins to rot, they offer him distractions. He is a slave with a screen, a prisoner entertained by his captors. But let me tell you what Myles Munroe saw. He understood that ignorance is not passive, it is aggressive. It is not neutral, it is an enemy. And you must treat it like a hostile force. Every day you go without learning is a day your chains grow tighter. Every truth you ignore becomes a tool used against you. Every book you refuse to read is a battlefield you've already lost. You will never conquer a world you do not understand. The powerful are not always smarter, they are simply more educated in the art of dominance. They read the laws of power while you scroll through noise. They study human behavior while you binge indulgence. They prepare for the future while you recover from yesterday. The rulers of this world don't need you to fail, they only need you to stay uninformed. That is enough. You were born with potential, yes, but potential without education is a bomb without a fuse. It goes nowhere. It impresses no one. The world will not reward your potential. It will reward your preparation. It will reward your understanding. It will reward how ruthlessly you have trained your mind to decode chaos and seize advantage. And yet people will cry, life is unfair. Of course it is, because life belongs to the trained, not the emotional. It bows to no man. It yields to no wish. It only respects the one who sees it clearly, who understands its architecture, who learns its language. And the only way to do that is to educate your mind like a soldier preparing for a siege. Your beliefs were not born with you, they were installed. Question them. Your habits were not chosen by you, they were absorbed. Challenge them. Your environment is not neutral, it is constantly shaping you. Outgrow it. The world is not what it seems. It is layers upon layers of systems, patterns, and psychological triggers. If you do not learn them, they will learn you, and they will use you. So what will you do? Will you live like livestock, grazing through life with no knowledge of who profits from your blindness? Or will you rise not with emotion, but with insight? Will you be content with being used? Or will you become dangerous through understanding? Because the mind is not a gift, it is a weapon. And if you do not train it, someone else will aim it for you. You will suffer. That is not a threat, it is a law. Life does not ask for your permission to deliver pain. It does not consider your prayers or pity your dreams. It will break you systematically, mercilessly, and repeatedly. But it does not break you to kill you. It breaks you to teach you. And what you learn in the agony determines whether you become a leader or a leftover. Weak minds waste pain. They cry for escape when they should be dissecting the experience. They numb themselves with distraction instead of mining the agony for revelation. But the educated mind, the one forged in fire, trained in thought, does not flinch at pain. It interrogates it. It investigates every wound like a general examining a battlefield. It asks, what is this trying to teach me, and how can I weaponize the lesson? Most people confuse pain with punishment. They don't realize that pain is a professor, a brutal, brilliant instructor that teaches in scars and whispers truth in suffering. But only the attentive learn. The foolish complain, retreat, collapse. The wise rise, not because the pain stopped, but because they learned what it came to teach. Myles Munroe understood that every crisis is a classroom. Your heartbreak, your loss, your financial ruin, your betrayal, none of it is random. It is curriculum, but it will not benefit you unless your mind has been educated to extract wisdom. That's why most people go through the same suffering again and again, because they didn't pass the test the first time. Life doesn't advance the ignorant, it recycles them. There is no promotion without pressure. The next level of your life is locked behind a wall of discomfort, adversity, and confusion. You don't break through it with emotion, you break through it with insight. But insight cannot come from the untrained mind. It must be developed through deliberate learning, critical thinking, and brutal self-awareness. And here is the law. What you do with pain determines your power. You can either let pain make you bitter or let it make you brilliant. The difference lies not in what happened to you, but in how your mind interprets what happened. Two men can lose everything. One becomes suicidal, the other becomes unstoppable. The deciding factor is not the event, it is the education of the mind. But the modern world has raised cowards. We are taught to avoid discomfort, to seek pleasure, to run from friction, to numb every sharp edge with convenience. So when life delivers pain, as it always will, the average man is shattered. He doesn't understand it. He's not built for it. His mind is soft, his emotions fragile, his will untested. He looks for someone to blame, something to sue, someone to save him. But no one is coming. No one is obligated to rescue you from the battlefield. If you do not train your mind, you die unarmed. Pain is a mirror. It shows you who you are when the masks fall. It reveals what you believe when your comfort is stripped away. It doesn't lie. It doesn't flatter. It exposes. And the uneducated mind hates exposure. So it hides, avoids, rationalizes. But the one who understands the role of pain confronts it with discipline. He studies it like a scholar studies a sacred text. He pulls the pattern from the chaos. He writes his strategy in blood. Myles Munroe taught that storms come not to destroy your life, but to reveal your structure. The weak crumble because they spent their days building fantasies instead of foundations. But the wise, the trained, the educated stand in the same storm and bend it to their will. They use their failure as fuel. They use the betrayal as blueprint. They turn heartbreak into hierarchy. Their loss becomes leverage. But none of this happens by chance. It happens because they trained their minds long before the pain arrived. You cannot wait until the battle starts to sharpen your sword. You cannot beg for wisdom while drowning in suffering. You must prepare in peace so you can perform in war. If you are lazy in the calm, you will be broken in the chaos. Educating your mind is not optional. It is protection. It is your only defense against the tragedies you have not yet met. So when life cuts you, do not waste the blood. Study it, track it, name it. Let every failure become a formula. Let every regret become a law. And let every ounce of suffering refine your perception, because pain is never just pain. It is data. It is language. It is code from the universe, but only the educated mind knows how to read it. There is no victory for a man whose mind is open to every voice, every emotion, and every lie. The world does not just fight your body. It does not just break your bank. It wages war against your mind. It does not want to kill you. It wants to occupy you. And the man who has not built a fortress around his thoughts will be ruled, not by tyrants, but by whispers. The mind is a throne, and if you do not guard it with force, it will be ruled by anything that gets through the gate. Look at most people today. They think they are thinking, but they are merely reacting. They borrow opinions, adopt trends, absorb beliefs from broken people, and wonder why their lives are falling apart. Their minds are like cities without walls, vulnerable to every idea, every fear, every manipulation. They are not living, they are being lived through. They don't think, they are being thought. Myles Munroe understood that if your mind is not fortified, then your destiny is under siege. There is no external enemy more dangerous than an undisciplined mind, because if you cannot control your internal world, then the external world will always master you. A man with no mental discipline is a man with no defense. He builds a business, but can't handle pressure. He enters a relationship, but cannot handle his emotions. He dreams of success, but cannot resist distraction. So he collapses again and again, not because life is cruel, but because his mind was unguarded. There is a reason kings built castles with walls. There is a reason generals built fortresses before they fought wars, because strength is nothing without protection. And your mind is no different. If you do not reinforce it, condition it, discipline it, then no matter what you gain in life, you will lose it the moment pressure hits, because nothing collapses faster than a man who never trained his mind to carry weight. Do you really think life respects your potential? Do you really believe your talent will save you? No. Life respects order. Life rewards strategy. Life bows only to those who have built themselves to last. And that begins in the mind. You must choose what gets access. You must be ruthless with your attention, brutal with your beliefs, and deliberate with your internal architecture. Because what lives in your mind will eventually live in your habits, your decisions, and your results. But modern society teaches you the opposite. It tells you to stay open, to be soft, to let every new idea in, to explore every emotion, to embrace every whim. And what does that produce? Confusion, mental chaos, people who know everything and stand for nothing, people whose minds are so open that their identity leaks out, people who scroll for hours, listen to everyone, trust nothing, and build nothing. They are mentally occupied, colonized by entertainment, anxiety, insecurity, and noise. A mental fortress is not built on positive thinking. It is built on deliberate construction. It is built by knowing who you are, what you believe, what your mission is, and what cannot be allowed to live inside your mind. It is built by studying philosophy, understanding history, mastering emotional control, and destroying weak habits at the root. It is not built in comfort. It is built in isolation, in silence, in fire. It is built by saying no to 1,000 things the world says yes to. You must build walls around your focus. Every moment your mind is open to nonsense, you are bleeding energy. You must protect your time like a king protects his bloodline. You must protect your beliefs like a general protects his command center. You must decide that not everything deserves access to your mental throne, because anything that can live in your mind can eventually rule your life. And here is the cruel truth. If you do not build your mind with intention, someone else will build it for you. The world is full of architects who specialize in shaping your thoughts without you knowing. Advertisers, influencers, politicians, the wounded, the bitter, the blind, all of them want access to your mind. If you do not build strong gates, their agenda becomes your operating system. Their lies become your beliefs. Their fears become your limitations. And without realizing it, you are living a life that is not even yours. You were not created to be weak, emotional, or easily manipulated. You were created to rule. And rulership begins with internal order. It begins when you wake up and decide, this is my mind. I do not owe access to everyone. I do not allow every emotion to dictate my behavior. I do not accept beliefs that weaken me. I do not tolerate thoughts that sabotage me. This is the voice of a builder. This is the voice of a ruler. This is the voice of a man who has chosen to build a fortress, not a fantasy. You can lose money and get it back. You can lose a relationship and find another. But if you lose control of your mind, you are finished, because everything else flows from there. The battles of life are won or lost, not in the streets, not in the bank account, not in the hands, but in the mind. And only those who have built fortresses survive the siege. Power is not a mystery. It does not fall from the sky. It does not arrive by luck. Power is always attracted to preparation. And the man who refuses to prepare is the man who volunteers for powerlessness. The world does not withhold opportunities. It withholds rewards from the unready. You may desire success, impact, wealth, influence, but the question is not what you want. The question is, are you built for what you want? The throne does not care about your dreams. It responds only to your readiness. You can pray, fast, scream, and post quotes every day, but if you are not prepared, you are not qualified, because power is not granted by passion. It is granted by position, and you can only hold that position if your mind, your spirit, and your discipline have been trained to carry weight. Most people admire power, but do not understand its nature. Power is not given to the emotional. It is not handed to the confused. It is allergic to the lazy, and it avoids the scattered.
Power is heavy, dangerous, demanding. It exposes the weak, magnifies the undisciplined, and amplifies every flaw in a man. So when power does not arrive, it's not because life is unfair, it's because life is wise. It withholds elevation from those who would be destroyed by it. Myles Munroe didn't teach people how to dream, he taught them how to prepare. He knew that purpose without preparation is a curse. He saw men with ambition but no order, women with potential but no structure, people with gifts but no endurance. And he warned them, if you do not prepare for what you pray for, it will crush you when it arrives. Preparation is not glamorous, it is private, it is slow, it is often invisible, but it is the womb of greatness. You cannot lead if you have not labored. You cannot speak with authority if you have not studied in silence. You cannot overcome chaos if you have not mastered yourself. The applause comes after, but the throne belongs to those who bled before the battle even started. Do you really think you'll rise by accident? That opportunity will knock at your door while you sit untrained, unfocused, and uninformed. That's not how empires are built. That's not how kings are made. You must become so dangerous in preparation that when the moment comes, no one can question if you're the one. You don't ask for power. You arrive ready to wield it. The prepared man does not wait for conditions to be perfect. He trains in the storm. He learns in obscurity. He sharpens when no one is watching. He is not addicted to attention. He is addicted to mastery. And when the stage appears, he does not flinch. He does not stutter. He does not shrink. He executes, because preparation is what gives confidence its spine and courage its direction. People say they want freedom, but freedom without preparation becomes chaos. They say they want wealth, but wealth without structure becomes ruin. They say they want to lead, but leadership without wisdom becomes tyranny. Power is not what you think it is. It is not glory. It is not image. It is responsibility. It is pressure, and only those who have been trained to carry it can survive its weight. There are people more talented than you, more connected, more visible, but they will lose because talent is not enough, connection is not enough, visibility is not enough. What separates the lasting from the temporary is preparation, the unseen work, the daily grind, the obsession with precision, the refusal to be casual about your calling, the discipline to prepare when no one is clapping and no one is watching. You will not be chosen just because you exist. You will be chosen because you built yourself for the role before the role arrived. This is what makes the prepared man dangerous. He does not need external confirmation. He does not chase recognition. He prepares because he knows the laws of power. And one of them is this: you will never be offered more than you are prepared to manage. Myles Munroe taught that when preparation meets purpose, destiny bows. And you must become that kind of man or woman who lives every day like the throne is already yours, even when you're in the shadows. You must study like someone's life depends on your knowledge. You must discipline yourself like you've already been trusted with influence. You must condition your mind like a battlefield strategist, not a dreamer begging for attention. There will come a day when your name is called, when the door opens, when the test is given, and you will not have time to practice then. You will either be ready or you will be replaced, because power has no patience for the unprepared. It belongs to the one who trained in silence, who built without applause, who stayed hungry when there was no promise of reward, who mastered their thoughts long before the world noticed their voice,